been dreaming on in my head like I've seen it. A life worth living is a life with meaning. I'll do what I love till my heart stops beating. I'm feeding this demon.
Oh my god, guys, look at that fucking
my face, work a job every day till your dreams fade away. Like a card, never change, play the game.
big old striker, guys, look at that. Look at that. Big old girl from Pops. You're the man with the bridge shit, man, I can tell you that. Look at that big one, guys. That's a freaking hog, dude! Get up here! Woo, baby. Look at that tank. What's going on, guys? Bastion Up Moffat here, coming at you with a new video for this Thursday. Got Pops with me today. Gonna talk something special with you. Since Pops is with me, we are going to talk drop shotting. Pops is a little drop shot king around here, and figured with spring coming up soon and everybody kind of getting in the fishing itch, one of the best spring tactics you can use is a drop shot to catch fish up shallow, fish getting ready to spawn, fish not ready to spawn, fish that don't want to eat, fish that are up on a bed, all of that. They will all eat it, and it's all a great tactic to use a drop shot for. So without further ado, let's just get into it and go over some drop shot stuff. At the end here, we might show you some footage on some fish that we caught on the drop shot last year, but let's get into rod setups that you want. Generally, for a rod setup for throwing the drop shot, you're gonna want like a 6 to 7 foot rod. Right here's one that I got rigged up. Now, some of you that don't know what a drop shot is, or have never even heard of a drop shot yet, could be going, well, what does that even look like? If I can get this untangled here, I'll show you. So this is a drop shot rig right here.
It's just a way of floating your bait up above the weight and keeping it up in the fish's face. Get a little more strikes that way sometimes. A little more finesse action.
And really what that is, it's just bait's dangled above the hook like that, about 12 inches. Can depend on the style you're fishing, how deep you want to fish. It's kind of how you want to judge your leader length. Most of the time it's right around 12 inches though is all you need. But that is a drop shot, and what it looks like. This one, I have a little yum worm on there rigged up, and this is kind of one of the best ways if you want to nose rig a drop shot. This is the best way you can do it, is have it rigged up through the front here like this. In a few moments I'm going to actually rig one for you just to show you there, but this is the best way that you can rig one if you nose rig it, just because any other way your bait can get balled up on the hook a little too much and actually give them more leverage to get off. Doing it this way, they get full penetration right to the hook point right away as soon as they bite down on it.
And rigging it like this, instead of sticking it straight through the bait, rigging it out the front of the nose like this, we don't get any line twist when we're reeling it back in all the time.
Now this rod that I'm throwing on, this is my little bit longer drop shot setup. This is a 7-1 medium extra fast action with a nice soft tip. On a drop shot rod, it's nice to have a real soft tip. I like it, at least helps feel that right nice little bite. A lot of times when you're going to be using a drop shot, it's going to be a real finesse light bite.
And you're working with a lightweight, so you need that light tip so you can feel that lightweight.
The other rod that I got here, this is my smaller rod. This is a 610. Yes, this is a 610 medium light fast action. Like I said, light tip. This is actually the Aaron Martin's designed Aaron's Edge Enigma rod. This is the one that he designed, so of course one of the drop shot kings, I have to have like around a 610 rod for the drop shot. Line wise for the drop shot, I like to go braid to leader a lot of times, anywhere from like a 10 to 20 pound braid on a 6 to 10 pound fluorocarbon leader. Most of the time I like 8 to 10 just because I don't like losing fish. Some guys like the 6 pound if they think they're in a lake that's really clear and the fish can see the line. I truly don't think if you're using fluorocarbon as your leader, they should see it. That's the whole point in fluorocarbon, is so they can't see it. So if you're using fluorocarbon, I don't think it really matters. Some guys believe it does. You can judge it with your own. But let's get into how you rig one. Now this is going to be how I rig this one. This is going to be with a regular style hook.
Texas rigged hook.
Texas rigged hook. Okay, so how you rig this, take your hook, take your line, you want your hook point facing your line coming in. Feed that up through.
Pull as much out that you want for your leader.
Yep.
Below the hook for your weight.
So I got about 12, 13 inches there, something like that.
You can always cut some off if you need it.
And then you just tie a polymer knot. Polymer knot, if you don't know how to do that, let's see if I can get close so you can see. Polymer knot, you have that tag end through there, the loop doubled over. Take the loop and you take the tag end, have the hook free dangling there. Put that around through. Do a little overhand knot with the loop and the tag end. Then pull that tight. And then put the hook through the loop. Just like that. Wet a little bit and pull it tight. With fluorocarbon, you always want to wet it a little bit. With it being such a smooth line, sometimes you can cut into it yourself
and make it weak.
Or make it weak by pulling against itself.
Now you want to put your tag in right back through the line hole so that comes out underneath, and that'll keep your...
Now the tag end you take here like he was saying and you put right back through the line hole so your weight comes out underneath of your hook.
Pull it so that it sets up.
Instead,
pull both sides.
Sit here. Ow! You sit here and you pull on both sides and then it's sitting straight up. That's how you know you got it rigged right, if it's sitting straight up like that. Then you take your weight. I honestly just do a little overhand knot on the end. It's usually good enough to not make it come off.
And a lot of times I just slip it through there and pull it into that little crease.
So there I just tied a little knot there. You take your drop shot weight. This is a little cylinder style drop shot weight. Like these, just a little bit more for getting through the cover a little bit better. The round ones seem, especially if you're fishing around rocks, the round ones seem to get caught up in the rocks a lot easier.
And these go through grass a lot better.
As you can see, they just have a little loop in them like that, and you can actually just pull that knot right into that little loop and it stays tight. Makes it real nice and easy, so if you get stuck, you can just pull the weight right off instead of having to lose the whole rig. Most of the time, that's how it goes, unless you're fishing heavier cover and then get the hook stuck into it. But most of the time, you don't lose the whole thing. And then, to rig the drop shot, Texas rig style, I'm gonna take this little Zoom Z drop worm here, thread the nose.
With the flat side down.
Flat side down, right there like that. Poke it in, on up through.
Over the keeper, and that's a key to that hook, is that keeper. And then just expose it a little bit, where the hook point is just barely there.
And that's how you rig your drop shot, Texas rigged style. Got the weight dangling about a foot below, and that's all it's to it. That's how you rig your drop shot. Now, we will refer you over to Dad, talk a little bit more about hook styles and the benefits of each hook style.
Okay, so we got here 3 different sides, 3 different styles and hooks here, and basically the sizes you want to use is 1 or 1/0. It's going to depend on the size of the bait that you're using, how thick it is and whatnot. You just have to experiment. We got a spin shot hook here, which is great for going out and playing around, especially if you're just starting drop shotting and stuff. This will keep you, it has a swivel in there on the eye of the hook, and you tie a line to the top swivel and tie a line to the bottom swivel, and then you don't get any line twist with your drop shot. And that's really good for, like I said, if you're just out trying this drop shot out for like beginning and you haven't really experimented with it much. But we don't use that in the tournaments very often because it just seems like a little bulkier hook and has a lot more stuff on it. The next one is the Trocar hook, and that one doesn't have the swivel on it. That's one we will use to nose hook our baits like he showed you at the beginning with the Yum warning shot, or if you have like some of the smaller worms like a 4-inch robo worm or something like that, or you're going to use a dream shot, you nose hook that with that. And the same way with these small swim baits, you can nose hook them with that too. The Kitex or the Jackal Rhythm Wave, they're good for that. Next, we got the Robo Worm rebarb hook with the keeper that he just showed you. And that's for fishing in the cover. That's what we're going to use for like fishing around tree stumps and logs, rocks, grass, things like that. Anytime we're fishing around cover that's going to get snagged, we're going to use that hook. But if we're fishing anywhere other than grass or trees, wood, we're going to use this hook right here.
And now I will get back into talking about the baits a little bit. Right here in front of us, we just have a few of our favorite choices, I guess you could say, for the drop shot and ones that we throw. Number one favorite, probably going to be Zoom Z drops. Green pumpkin, watermelon red, a lot of times morning dawn a little bit here and there. Most of the colors depends on the time of year a little bit and what the forage is like a little bit, or what you're really trying to replicate with the drop shot of when we'll choose what color. But Zoom G drops is one of our favorites.
And that's our favorite because it's cheap and we get a lot of them in a pack.
Yeah. Then another cheap favorite option is the Yum Morning Shots. Like I said, they're only like a couple bucks a bag. You get a whole bunch of them in there and they work good. They're just a tiny little bait, so if you're around some fish, you can catch them on them.
It's a nice bait if you want a little bulkier profile and a little more bluegill-ish looking thing, you know.
Then another cheap option, you got Zoom Finesse worms. These are nice, they float and all that, so it's a nice floating option. Or if you want to do a wacky rig on the drop shot, this is a very good wacky rig option because of the float. It has a really nice flaw to it when you're wacky rigging them, and because of the float and the way they move in the water, it also quivers very nicely. So it's one of the reasons why we use them. And then we got the KVD Perfect Plastics Dream Shot.
A very good bait there. It's really soft like a hand poured bait.
Has a lot of action. Bait really flows freely in the water. And of course we got Robo Worms.
Robo Worms has been one of the best drop shot baits for years. Like, this technique's probably been around for 30 years and Robo Worms probably been around for just as long. So I had to tell you they're a really good bait to drop shot.
Yep, they're the ones that kind of began it all. Wouldn't say totally began it all, but one of the biggest beginner companies in drop shot. So
and 54 colors,
like
54 or 60 colors I think they got in them. So
yeah, plenty of color choices too.
you can find your favorite.
And then another thing we like to do is drop shot swimming, swim bait, potting around. When the bite's tough, or if they're on small bait pattern.
Or even suspended fish.
Or yep, even suspended fish, fishing around little edges of grass and stuff like that. This can really come in key. And when you're just going out and having a tough time getting fish to bite, sometimes this really can shine.
Anytime they're on bait or garden fry, this is awesome techniques also in the fall when they're chasing small bait.
But usually when it's tough, you can get them to bite one of them little guys swimming around.
Definitely.
I think it's a little minnow swimming. And retrieve style for this bait is just a slow pop and kind of drag or pull. You don't really want to move it super fast most of the time unless you're doing something like trying to swim the swim bait with it. And even then you don't want to go super fast with it. You want to just kind of drag it and pull
Very
it
slow
slowly.
Pull, slow reel, you know.
But one of the best things you can do with it is honestly just throw it in, let it sink.
Dead stick it. Hold it up.
Stick it, and then pop it, or just do a real light little quiver in place.
Basically all you're doing is shaking that slack in the line, and that's it.
You can feel the weight and the difference between the weight of your bait and the weight of the actual sinker or weight that's under your bait.
That's
and you can sit there and shake that lure real nice and slowly. And a lot of times, especially early in the spring and when they're up on beds and stuff, that really comes into play because you can sit there and just shake it inside their bed or whatever, and they'll come up and
when that thing's just quivering right there in front of their face, they just either want it out of there or whatever, but they're going to bite it.
But without further ado, let's get into the video portion of this. Nothing crazy, just a few fish that we caught last year on the drop shot to highlight that the drop shot works pretty good. But let's get into that real quick. So here you go. Yeah, it is a smallie. A little smallie. Oop, there he goes. Hello. Come on, chill, bro. You're always so feisty. Little smallie. We got a little smallmouth, guys. Not a big one, but another little Marburg smallmouth. Where'd this little guy go? You still in school?
Oh yeah?
Still with? That's a good one.
You in that? Nice. Walking. Hey. Get on in there.
No. Stop it.
Foggy.
Ooh, he swallowed that.
That's it. You want a picture with it?
Decent one, guys. Check him out. You got him. Dad's hooked up again. Dad's taking over the show today. Another decent one off the old drop shot. Pops are hooked up with another. That's a good one.
Not bad. I was trying to bring my well back here. Yeah, thanks. Barely hooked too.
That's a good one. There we go.
About time. Took a while.
Pops is hooked up. Got a good one. That's a nice one.
Not bad.
Pop's got a good one. That's a dandy. It's probably a 3-pounder easy. Nice one. Very nice. There he goes. Big old carp out there too. There's one.
There it is. Not bad fish. Like a 15 acre, 14 and a half, 15 acre.
There you go. Decent little guy. Send him back. Well, guys, that's going to conclude this video for you. Hope you guys liked this little drop shot video, and hope you guys enjoyed me bringing Pops in for this little tip video, since he's the drop shot king. Kicked my butt on it quite a few times last year.
I don't know if I'm the drop shot king, but it is one of my favorite things to catch bass on.
But hope you guys enjoyed this. If you did, please make sure you hit that like button. That helps me get pushed further along to other people. And make sure you hit that subscribe button if you did enjoy, so you can come back next Thursday for the next video. And we are almost at 600 subscribers. Still not there quite yet. So once we do, I will do that 600 subscriber giveaway for a trip out on one of the lakes around here with me. So as soon as we get to 600, I can do that. Make sure you're liking, commenting, and are subscribed to the channel to be entered into that. If you have not done all three, you are not entered, so make sure you have all three done on at least one of my videos and you will be entered into that. But without me jabbling on anymore, we'll see you next Thursday. Tight lines, guys.